Hey guys, it's Cory from CoryBakerFilmmaker.com, and I just saw Avengers Infinity War, written by Christopher Markus and Stephen McFeely, and directed by Anthony and Joe Russo. Okay, so up front, I'm just going to lay out how I'm going to do this so everyone is on the same page. I'm going to start out the usual way I do, reviewing the theater, and then going on to talking about the actual movie and my thoughts and stuff like that. There will be no spoilers during this time. I will give the movie review, or I will give the leaderboard pick, and there will be no spoilers during that time. But if you don't want to know that sort of thing, you can cut out right there. But right after the leaderboard, we are going to go right into spoiler territory. So if you've already seen the movie, you want to get some thoughts, you want to hear what I think about the ending and everything, that's the place for you to see that. But I wanted to make sure that I partitioned a certain point of this interview up front for the people who are trying to avoid spoilers and just sort of get a sense for whether or not this is worth seeing. Also, before we get started, if you followed me with my production company, Oh the Anthem, then you know that I have made a web series talking about my love of superheroes and sort of a theology of superheroes. It's called Heretics. Go check it out. YouTube.com/Oh the Anthem. You can find it right there. If you enjoy superheroes and all that sort of stuff, and you enjoy me, and you want to see things that I've written and directed in that vein, it's the perfect place to go do it. I'd appreciate if you watch it. I even act in the second one for better or worse, so check it out. Going into it now. I caught this movie at the Los Feliz 3, which is in Los Feliz, Los Angeles, California. I should have really fucking thought about it before I picked that theater. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I saw Lady Bird there and I loved it. I enjoy the feeling of a theater that like sort of brings me back to like those early teenage years, like the small little like hole in the wall theaters. It kind of reminds me of the Charles back home in Baltimore. Even smaller though and a little bit more intimate. But given my druthers, I probably would have seen it in a bigger theater. I was just trying to sort of fit it into a more reasonable schedule. I've been working nonstop for the last 2 weeks here, so I had been dying to see Avengers and just wanted to make sure that I got out of it before midnight. And to do that, I had to go to Los Feliz. If you're going to go see Avengers, definitely go see it on a big screen with high-tech sound. But I didn't think that anything was really ruined by a scene at Los Feliz. It would have been of my preference to see it elsewhere, probably. On to the movie. If you followed any of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, then you sort of already know where this thing is heading. But Thanos has been teased from several of the past couple movies as coming and getting ready to be the destroyer of worlds that he is. And in this movie, he's trying to collect all the Infinity Stones, or Infinity Gems, if you're one of the comic people, with the idea of killing half the world's population, the universe's population, because everyone is depleting the resources of the universe, and we need to start over and get fresh and everything like that. And it's up to the Avengers, the Guardians of the Galaxy, everybody basically we've seen, with the exception of like Hawkeye and Ant-Man, who aren't in this movie, to draw the whole thing, like to defend the universe and keep Thanos from getting to his ultimate desires. Now, I'll say I'm a pretty big comic book fan. I'm not, super intense. I'm not like, well, it was Amazing Comics number 15 where you first saw Thanos. I'm not that tight, but I was a comic book kid growing up. Always loved Marvel. It's always, to me, it's actually kind of disappointing that we're going through this whole Marvel Cinematic Universe without the X-Men. Obviously, that's just sort of a contract thing rather than a desire by Disney or Marvel to do anything about it. I will say this, we have an absurd amount of characters to have to keep track of and worry about throughout this entire thing. And honestly, when about halfway through, I'm watching this going like, I probably would have been better served catching up on some of the Marvel movies that I hadn't seen, or that I hadn't seen in 10 years, essentially. I mean, like, There's not a whole lot that like the original Iron Man draws into this movie, or at least enough that you wouldn't be able to have your casual remembrance of what happened 10 years ago. But there are a couple that are important into your understanding of it. So, I mean, Doctor Strange would be a good one. Thor Ragnarok and the latest Guardians of the Galaxy are all ones that I'm thinking right off the top of my head you really should be up on before you walk in to Infinity War. As far as the actual movie goes, I mean, it starts out a little slow for me. I enjoy the canon and all the characters and the quips and everything like that, but it certainly felt very much like, to anyone who ever watched wrestling, like there was the Royal Rumble, which every year in January they would have the Royal Rumble, which is 30 participants who would come into the ring, and you have to throw over opponents over the top rope in order to eliminate them, and the last man standing wins it all. And when you have this many characters in this Marvel Cinematic Universe and they're all in this movie, there's sort of a feeling of like everyone's sort of getting it in, everyone's sort of getting their moment, and then, you know, sort of up or down whether or not they're successful in some manner. I don't know. It feels like it might have been better if it was a little bit cut down, like it was less people, but obviously there would be no point in having a battle for the universe unless all the Avengers were a part of it and all the members of the Guardians of the Galaxy. So clearly, and you know, like, what are you just gonna not have Scarlett Johansson in this movie because she's one of the premier names that brings it in, blah 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 blah. It was a little bit much at times, and it's a little unwieldy, and I understand that. Honestly, I think that Christopher Markus and Stephen McFeely did a tremendous job of trying to shepherd this thing to its eventual conclusion. You know, I don't think every single character needed to be in this, and maybe some things will be more important in the second run. But I mean, like, I'm getting a little bit tired of all the screen time going to some people that I just don't. I could care so little about. As far as like action and fight scenes and everything like that goes, I thought they were all really well done. I enjoyed all the CG. It was all top notch. The problem, if you will, is that there wasn't anything that really like stood out above all else. It's not like I didn't feel like there was really a moment at the end of it where I went, you know, oh my god, I'm gonna remember this one particular fight scene forever because it was so amazing and special. It was all fine, but there wasn't anything that like is particularly memorable when you get to the end of it all. Leaderboard assemble! Hey everybody, it's leaderboard time. This is the first time during this reviews that I've seen a movie at the Los Feliz 3. Go check it out, because independent theaters need your help more than any other theater out there. Onto the movie leaderboard. This flicks like Avengers are tough because it's not like it's not like the Fast and the Furious leaderboard would really do anything for it. I mean, like, obviously, just with like magic and time travel and everything like that, it fits more into the feeling of like a Fast and the Furious style leaderboard. But I mean, like, it sort of stands on its own too. So it's not like you got to turn your brain off. In fact, for this one, it's a little bit more of a theological thought experiment. So I would give it a 7.5. It's good. It's setting up for the next part of the Avengers and probably Captain Marvel. I don't know if Ant-Man versus the Wasp is going to have a whole tie-in with this as well. But I mean, like, those are the things that are setting up for the next stage of the Avengers series. So it's going to be important to, like, the next one is really where it should all come together. And I know this is kind of like a tease a little bit, because it doesn't feel like it's fully developed. Or not that it's not fully developed. It's fully developed. It's just, it doesn't seem like it's setting up all the things that you need to do to finalize it later. And the planning stages that this movie sort of gives you can be a little tedious. So it was a lot of fun. Definitely worth seeing. I was like shocked at the end, but as far as like rating this, it's you know, a C average. All right. It's just us now. Spoilers. I hope everybody has heeded my warning. We're getting to it now, so please just be with me on this one. We're gonna talk about the ending. So Thanos gets all the Infinity Stones. They're all in the gauntlet. We're on Wakanda. There's a huge battle brewing between the Avengers and Thanos. He snaps his fingers, and all of a sudden, the world is over. Essentially, I mean, not the world is over, but I mean, like, he's in this place that we've never seen before, and it's very orange, so it feels very Soul Stony, and half the characters just fucking disappear. So no Black Panther, no, pretty much all the Guardians are gone, no Spider-Man. I can't remember everybody off the top of my head, but essentially the people who remain are a lot of the original Avengers. So we got Iron Man, we got Captain America, we got Thor, we got Doctor Strange, those types of people. Scarlet Witch is gone, but Black Widow remains. I mean, so my number one fear at this point, now that I've had like 12 hours to kind of like think about it and digest it, is just that I'm worried that we're going to end up with some sort of like, you know, like everyone comes back just because we figured out a way to turn back time. And I know that there's probably something to do with Doctor Strange seeing this coming, because he said he, you know, sort of future cast 14 million possible endings, and this is we only won one. So obviously he wouldn't give up the stone if he knew that it wasn't part of a grander scheme of how the Avengers eventually turn this out. And with the end credit sequence, obviously Captain Marvel is going to play a huge part in this, and I'm looking forward to seeing Brie Larson in that. But I'm just sort of worried that like it's just going to be like no harm, no foul when everybody comes back at the end of this whole thing. Probably some people won't come back just because it's a good opportunity to break loose of people who are not going to be sticking around for long. I mean, obviously there's sort of been rumors about Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans like not coming back for future versions of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I just really don't want to, at the end of this whole thing, just have everyone come back, no harm, no foul, because that would sort of be disappointing to me, especially after sitting through this one and sort of having the ending as it is sort of shock me so many times. Like, not in this, you know, like, I know that Black Panther is coming back because it was the biggest superhero movie of all time up until Avengers, and they're going to make another one. They can't help themselves. You're not going to kill Spider-Man because you don't even fucking own Spider-Man. And Fox is already making a Homecoming too. So you gotta, like, clearly this is going to work itself out in some sort of way, but I'm a little bit worried about how it's all going to come together. I really am. And I have faith in Kevin Feige and everybody at the Marvel team, because so far they've done everything so well, and I haven't really been disappointed, but I'm a little bit skeptical. And the fact that I got to wait so long until I get to the end of this thing is kind of tough. But at least we're in a world where the Marvel Cinematic Universe is sort of like, this storyline seems to be wrapping up away, and it seems like we're going to be spending a little bit more time with the new crop of heroes that have sort of come in with, you know, Black Panther and Spider-Man. So it's a little bit weird to see them go, but I don't know. I'm sort of spiraling at this point because I'm still not completely 100% with what has happened and where we're going. So that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. I just had to get it out there. I'm nervous and excited and worried all at the same time about the dramatic conclusions of the Infinity War saga, and I'm just, God, I really wish it was just available. Like we could go see it now. But anyway, that's it for me. If you want more, you can find me at my website, CoryBakerFilmmaker.com, Facebook.com/CoryBakerFilm, or at LegendsCB5 on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Please like, share, write a comment for anything if you enjoyed this review. If you have had conversations with other friends about like what's going on with the ending and you want to show them this, that's all. Well, yeah, but that's about it. If you excuse me, I have to rock in the corner over there until the next Avengers comes out.